Everyone is talking about AI. It's everywhere, right? But the hype, it can be a little much. So, have you ever wondered how a top tech CEO really uses it? Day to day, not the stuff you see in the marketing. Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're distilling the super practical, no fluff insights from Zoho CEO Sridhar Vembu. This is a pure reality check.
So how does a guy like this actually use AI? Well, not as some all-knowing oracle, but more like a sparring partner. And this quote, this is where it gets really clever. He's not just taking an answer from one AI and running with it. He actually takes the output from ChatGPT over to Gemini and says, hey, what do you think of this? And then he takes Gemini's response back to ChatGPT. He's basically making them compete, turning them into consultants that check each other's work. It's such a simple but powerful trick.
He actually has a name for this, the Socratic method for AI. And look, it's a process any of us can use. First, you get your answer. Then, and this is a cool step, you ask the same AI to poke holes in its own answer. But the real magic is step 3, taking that whole conversation to a different AI for a second opinion. You're literally pitting them against each other, forcing them to one-up the other one. You end up with so much more depth and better criticism than you'd ever get from just one.
Okay, so that Socratic method, it's brilliant for your own personal research. But what happens when you bring this stuff into the office? Where a mistake can cost real money or get you in serious trouble. That's a whole different ballgame. So let's get super clear about what AI is good for at work today, and maybe more importantly, where you absolutely should not use it.
First up, programming. The yes here is using AI as a tutor. It is amazing for that. You've got a chunk of code you don't understand? Paste it in, ask for an explanation. Perfect for learning. But the no, and this is a big one, is letting AI generate code and then just push it straight into production without a human looking at it. No way. That's a massive risk. I mean, think about it. Who's on the hook if there's a security flaw? You need a real person to take that responsibility, not some black box algorithm.
And you see the same exact logic when it comes to business intelligence. A definite yes, have AI summarize your competitors' publicly available regulatory filing. That's a great super low-risk use case. They are legally required to be truthful in those documents. But the big no, asking AI to write your own company's official legally binding filing, whoa, that is playing with fire. Because look, if the AI messes up summarizing a competitor, who really cares? But if it hallucinates a single number on your official documents, you are in serious trouble. This pattern continues right into the legal field. And here, the stakes get even higher. A yes for a lawyer? Using AI as a research assistant to summarize decades of case law? It's a total game changer, saves a ton of time. But the line is crossed when you let it actually write the legal brief that you're going to file in court. Why is that so incredibly dangerous? Well, this isn't some hypothetical. It's already happened. And the results were not good. Here's the bottom line. AI mixed stuff up. It hallucinates. We have seen real cases where lawyers submitted briefs to a judge, and the AI had just invented legal precedents, completely fake cases that never even happened. The judge, of course, found out, the lawyers got fined, they got sanctioned, and some even had their careers put on the line. So yeah, this isn't some theoretical what if, this is a you could lose your license kind of mistake.
Okay, so we've just laid out all these huge, very real career-ending risks, which begs a really big question, right? Why on earth is Wall Street betting trillions of dollars on this technology? There seems to be a disconnect there. So let's dig into the massive economic bet that's really fueling this whole AI boom.
First, let's just try to get our heads around the scale here. We are not talking billions. We're talking somewhere between 10 and 20 trillion dollars. That's the estimated stock market value that's riding on the future of AI. Now, you don't make a bet that big just to get a slightly better research assistant. Wall Street is expecting something way, way bigger for that kind of money.
So what is it? What's the fundamental belief that makes a $20 trillion bet seem like a good idea? What is the prize that they're all chasing?
And here's the answer. It's a little uncomfortable. That multi-trillion-dollar bet, it's not about AI making us more productive. It's about AI replacing us. The entire financial model is based on the idea that AI can eliminate, say, 20 to 30% of high-paying jobs, programmers, lawyers, marketers. The thinking is that companies can make the exact same amount of money, but with half the staff. That's the bet.
But here's the thing. That bet, especially on replacing programmers, it hasn't actually paid off yet. Yeah, AI can generate tons of code, but we're not seeing this massive productivity boom they promised. So why not? Let's get into the really deep, fundamental reasons for that and what the path forward might actually look like.
The biggest roadblock isn't just that today's AI isn't good enough. It's something much deeper. It's a fundamental, unbreakable rule in computer science called the halting problem. It has been mathematically proven that you can never, ever build a tool that can look at any random program and tell you with 100% certainty if it will run correctly or just get stuck forever. It's like a law of physics, but for code. You just can't break it. And that has massive implications for us, right? It means that an AI can never give you an absolute guarantee that the code it generates is secure. It can't promise it's bug-free. It can't promise it won't crash your entire system. It can make a really good guess. But for mission-critical software, a good guess just isn't good enough. You need certainty. So where do we go from here? Well, the real breakthrough, the real path to that 10x productivity leap might be in combining the two. Imagine taking the creative, pattern-matching genius of AI and fusing it with the hardcore, logical, rule-based world of traditional compilers. Now, that is a really, really hard problem to solve, but if we can crack it, that's when things could get truly revolutionary. But okay, let's just pretend for a minute. Let's say we solve it. We actually achieve that 10x productivity in programming. Is that automatically a good thing? Well, Sridhar Vembu has this amazing analogy about mangoes that makes you stop and really think about the consequences.
All right, so here's the scenario. Step 1, we did it. The dream is real. Every programmer on Earth is now 10 times more productive. The amount of software being created just explodes. The market is about to be flooded with code.
Step 2 is just basic economics 101. The market becomes completely overwhelmed. There's way more software, way more apps, way more features than anyone could ever possibly want or need. Supply just blows past demand. And then comes step 3, which is totally inevitable, the price crashes. It's just like when farmers have a massive bumper crop of mangoes and the price drops through the floor. If software becomes that abundant, its value could plummet. The whole business model for enterprise software, which is built on it being difficult and expensive to make, could just completely fall apart. Which leaves us with this one, final, kind of mind-bending question. The very thing that Wall Street is betting trillions on, this explosion in productivity, could be the exact thing that destroys the value of the entire industry. So, if programmers are the new farmers, are we about to watch the entire software market turn into, well, the next mango market?